Good afternoon, Year 3, and welcome to our afternoon of topic looking at the Stone Age again. So this is our second lesson on the Stone Age. So let's find out what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at a timeline of the Stone Age. So I want you to spend a couple of minutes then having a think about what a timeline is, what it might be used for, and where you might have seen one before. Okay, you can talk to your grown-up at home, or if you've got any brothers or sisters to talk to, you can talk to them. If not, just have a think on your own. Okay, so what is a timeline and what are they used for? Okay, so to help us understand more then about what a timeline is and what it does, I want you to go and watch this video. So you'll need to press pause on this video and then go back to your timetable and find this link under your topic lesson you're watching now. Okay, so watch this video that I've put up there and you are going to then come back to this one. Off you go. Okay, so you should be joining us back after watching that video, and I hope you were listening carefully about what the timeline actually is. Okay, so today our learning objective, if you read it with me, says, I can complete a timeline of the Stone Age. Okay, and we're going to be looking at certain events that happened in the Stone Age to help us to make our own at the end. Okay, so we're going to start by thinking then, what does that word chronology mean? Okay, say it with me, chronology. Okay, have a few seconds to think, do I know what that word means? Okay, for those of us who are struggling, you might have noticed that we've put a definition up so you can have a look. It says the arrangement of events or dates in order of their occurrence. So chronology basically means the order or the way that things have happened. Okay, so events and dates in order of when they happened. Okay, so now we know what chronology is then, my question to you is, can we put these events into chronological order? Okay, that word chronological is just like chronology in that it means putting them in the order that they happened. So we're going to look and decide then, what is the first thing out of these that happened? Okay, let's look what they are first. So we've got Romans invade Britain, Usain Bolt wins the 100-meter gold at the Olympics, dinosaurs lived on the earth, and Queen Elizabeth II is born. Okay, so have a think then. What do you think the first thing that happened was? I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. Okay, for those of you who might be struggling with this, let's read through them again. So let's start with the dinosaurs then. Were the dinosaurs the first thing that happened? Were there people before there were dinosaurs? No, there weren't, were there? And all of the others, if you look closely, involve people. So we know that the dinosaurs are going to be the first chronological event on our timeline. So they are going to be the furthest that way, aren't they? Okay, let's have a look for our second one then. So we've got Usain Bolt wins the 100 meters at the gold at the Olympics. Now, some of you might have even have seen that or remember that. So we know that was quite recent. So it's not going to be that one, is it? Okay, and then we've got Romans invade Britain and Queen Elizabeth II is born. Okay, so it's between Romans and Queen Elizabeth. I want you to decide which one you think it would be. Okay, so the correct answer then is Romans. So Romans is our next one. The Romans are older than Queen Elizabeth, although she is quite old. She's not as old as the Romans, is she? Okay, so we know then that Queen Elizabeth would be third and Usain Bolt wins the 100-meter gold at the Olympics would be fourth. Let's double check if we're right. Okay, so we were correct. Look, the dinosaurs are the oldest. They lived on the earth before any people, so we know that they were the oldest chronological event. Then we've got Romans invading Britain. Then we've got Queen Elizabeth II is born, and Usain Bolt wins the 100-meter gold at the Olympics. Well done, everybody, if you got that. So the Earth then is around 4.5 billion years old. And we can't possibly know how old the world is exactly because we weren't born, were we? People weren't here. So we use a different system to measure that time, okay? This system has no zero. It works forward from AD and backwards from BC, okay? So we talked about BC and AD last week. And for some of you who asked, I told you that BC stands for before Christ, okay? But Christ, we also know him as another name in Christianity, don't we? We call him Jesus, okay? So it means before Jesus or before Christ was born. And AD stands for Anno Domini, which means the year of the Lord. So if you look at the bottom of the screen then, you'll see it says BC at one end and AD at the other. So before Christ at one end and Anno Domini on the second end. So this is quite a difficult part to get your head around, okay? But if you look at the timeline we've got on the screen at the minute, our written history, so the actual proof of history that we've got, starts with the Romans in 43 AD. Okay, so that's, look, it's even after the Stone Age. So we don't actually have any records, do we, of the Stone Age? And you can see on the other end of the timeline, I've got up there, we've got modern day right at this end. So you'll see we don't really have that much evidence, do we, of a lot of history in comparison to how long the world has been around. We've only got that little part at the end. Okay, then we're going to look at another chronological order then. So which event do you think came first? Can you put them into chronological order, remembering that that word means in the order they happened? Okay, so your scenarios are, your events are, no more woolly mammoths in Britain. This was possibly due to grassland turning into forest with the changing climates. Your second one, great sheets of ice covered Britain and food is scarce. Early humans are forced to leave for warmer countries. And your last one, the first members of the Homo genus inhabit Britain. We talked about Homo genus last week, and what did we say they were? Okay, if you're stuck and you need a reminder, okay, it means the first people who lived on the earth, okay? First kind of people who lived on the earth were there. So I'm going to leave you for a bit, have a think about those and try and order them by yourself, and then we'll go through them. Off you go. Okay, if you want to pause the video and have a bit longer, then you can do. I'm going to start to go through them now, okay? So the first one then, let's find out. So the first member of the Homo genus inhabit Britain. Okay, so we know that this is going to be our first one because this is the first evidence of people we have, okay? We've got to have some people for some evidence so we know what comes next, okay? So the first people are born, or the first people inhabit Britain, okay? They move into where we live now. So that should have been your first one. Let's look at the second one. Okay, no more woolly mammoths in Britain. And this was possibly due to the grassland turning into forest with the changing climate. Okay, so the woolly mammoths died because of climate change, and we know from our work last week that in the Stone Age there was a really big shift, wasn't there, in climate change, and we turned from not being an island into an island because of our climate changing so much. Okay, and then lastly then, great sheets of ice cover Britain and food is scarce. early humans are forced to leave to warmer climates. Okay, so people moved, didn't they, to warmer places in the Stone Age because they couldn't live where they were living anymore because it was so cold because of the climate change. Okay, you can have a dodo if you got that correct, so well done. If not, we're going to keep practicing, so don't worry. Okay, so it's important we think as well about when these events might have happened. So the first one then, so the first people inhabit Britain, let's say that happened in 800,000 BC. Okay, so we know that the next one was later on than that. So you have a guess now, when do we think that great sheets of ice covered Britain and food was scarce and people had to leave for warmer countries? Have a think. Okay, let's find out. So that was 200,000 BC. Okay, you see how that number's got smaller? Okay, and lastly then, when do we think that there were no more mammoths? That was 12,000 BC. Okay, so do you see how the number is decreasing as we're going along? Okay, it's really important we recognise that. So your task today then is to look at the cards that I've put on the attachment to your timetable, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to make your own timeline and order these events. So the first step you need to do is look at the cards, okay? And decide which is your oldest one and which is your earliest one, okay? And we've got the times as well, so you can use the numbers to help you. The dates, okay, and I want you to order them first and then you're going to transfer them onto a timeline. Okay, if your grown-ups are at home and they can help you with this because we've just started to learn to do this, but I want to see what you can do as well, okay, so have a try first and then you can ask for help from your grown-ups or anyone you've got at home, okay? After you've done that then, so after you've ordered them, I want you to try and put it on a timeline. Okay, remember when we're using BC and AD at the right ends, okay, and then the one that you think was the earliest goes on that end of the timeline, doesn't it? And then the one you think was latest goes on the other end of the timeline, okay? And then you need to decide where the ones in between go. Okay, if you don't have a printer, that is fine. You can just draw the line and write the events on. Okay, there's no need to print it if you don't have one, so don't worry, okay? And when you've done, if you can put these on your portfolio so I can have a look at them, that would be perfect. Okay, I can't wait to see them. Thank you very much for listening this afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you for topic next week. Okay, have a nice evening, everybody, and good luck with this. You'll be absolutely fine. Goodbye.